When will it ever be enough? You know, sometimes you and I can feel that way when we've done something for someone and they're not satisfied. Nothing is ever enough. I wonder if the Lord felt that way to some degree in our Old Testament lesson for today. Today we're reading Exodus 15 and 16. And in Exodus 15, Aaron and Moses and Miriam sing this song of praise about God's great deliverance. You know, he rescues the Israelites from the Egyptians. They've gotten to go through the walls of water on the right and on the left, and they see their enemies. They are victorious, and the Lord who has watched over them and rescued them will rescue them in the future. Absolute confidence. Don't worry about anything. But then in chapter 16, troubles come. And the Israelites start to gripe and complain. We should have just died in Egypt. No food. Well, I get it. You know, imagine what it's like being a parent and going, I don't know where I'm going to feed my children, what I'm going to do for my children, how am I going to feed them tomorrow? That's a scary prospect that some people to this day experience. That's what God's people were experiencing. They're out in the middle of the wilderness. What are we going to feed our kids? And they start grumbling and complaining. And the Lord who had rescued them, who had showed them his great power and love, could have just said, when is it ever enough? But it's right at that point that God reveals himself in a new way. For the first time in the Old Testament, the term the glory of the Lord is used. Look out into the desert and you will see the glory of the Lord. The glory of the Lord was that pillar of fire and pillar of smoke that led the Israelites through the wilderness. But this is the first time it's called the glory of the Lord, and that is a term that will be used over and over in the Old Testament. The glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle and the temple when they were dedicated. Ezekiel sees the glory of the Lord in incredible detail, and the shepherds on Christmas evening see the glory of the Lord shining around them. The glory of the Lord was the way the Savior God made himself visible. And what's amazing is the Israelites are grumbling and complaining about God, and rather than giving up on them, he reveals himself and reveals his presence in a marvelous way in this glory of the Lord. Look, there's the glory of the Lord. There's the Lord present with us. And it's from that point on that God provides them with the daily bread, the manna in the wilderness. Now, I don't know what the manna looks like, but whenever I think about manna, those little wafers that were on the ground, I think about the communion wafer. It must have looked something like this that they would go and pick up. And it's interesting that, God fed his people with this manna. What is it? It's some kind of bread from heaven. And Jesus picks up on this idea in John chapter 6 and talks about, no, Jesus is the true bread from heaven. Sometimes I gripe and complain because I'm never satisfied with what God has done. What have you done for me lately? I have a crisis today that you need to solve. God, where are you? The next time I come to receive Jesus' body and blood in the Lord's Supper and I receive this little piece of bread, this wafer, I'm going to remember that the Lord of glory, who was present with the Israelites of the Old Testament, they are present. This Lord of glory is also present with us. And he promises that he's giving us his body in this little wafer to be the true bread from heaven that feeds us, that reassures us that the Lord knows our needs and will provide for our needs. So Exodus chapters 15 and 16. And then in the New Testament, Matthew 25, verses 31 through chapter 26, verse 5, Jesus is wrapping up his conversation about the end of the world. And then it goes into the beginning of his suffering in chapter 26. And in that last part of Matthew 25, Jesus teaches us that one of the ways God provides the daily bread for the people around us is through us. That as we see people in need, and there are people yet to this day who go, I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids tomorrow. That when we see people in need and we show love and care to them, Jesus said, it's like loving and caring for my Savior. Just think, the glory of the Lord appears to us in bread and wine as the Savior comes to us and assures us, I love you, I've forgiven you, I'm with you. And the glory of the Lord then can appear through us to the people in need around us. What a blessing it is to know and see the glory of the Lord.